In the days of yore when PlayStation ruled the land, one hero became a poster boy for the lesser known mascots. Abe was an unlikely hero. He never wanted to bear the fate of his world upon his shoulders, but alas, after seeing that the despicable bigwigs at Rupture Farms were slaughtering Mudokons, he had to take matters into his own hands. OddWorld was indeed odd, stripping the platform genre of cutesy characters and colourful worlds in favour of murkiness and macabre. They were intricate games back then, and even the third entry in the series, OddWorld, Munch's Oddysee, continued to reinvent the series. However, that was in 2001, and a lot has happened since then. And what I don't understand is why this game's been re-released yet again. Since it came out almost 20 years ago, it's been playable on PC, PS3, PS Vita and mobile phones. Now, instead of developing something new, it's found another home yet again on Nintendo Switch. Munch's Oddysee has always been a good game, but there was a time and place for it. The controls are now unresponsive and finicky. Controlling the camera is just a palaver, and the environments are bland. Enemies are a raw pain in the backside. Were all these problems existent when it originally released? Probably yes, but they're only noticeable now because we've been so spoilt since. Abe is still very much a part of Munch's Oddysee, but a new character, the titular Munch, is who you spend much of your time with. Munch is a gabbia, and the Glukkons have driven them to the verge of extinction by turning them into a delicacy known as gabbia, as well as using them as lungs to replace their own from too much smoking. In order to save his race and stop the bad guys, Munch teams up with Abe to stop them, along with a new race of deranged scientists known as Vikers. In terms of originality, OddWorld inhabitants know how to come up with something different, and although there are certain platforming elements that pop up in other more popular titles, they've got a nice mix of mechanics that keep things varied. Both Abe and Munch can control the prisoners they rescue, Mudokons can be told to wait, help out, fight or follow Abe, and the new Fuzzles can be ordered by Munch to attack Vikers and other enemies, along with the same kind of controls as Abe. It isn't long before you get to play as both Abe and Munch, and each character has certain abilities that the other doesn't. Abe can use mind control on enemies and pick up his friends, but he can't swim. He can also buff himself with fizzy drinks that give him temporary abilities like running faster or jumping higher. Due to the experiments conducted on Munch, he can drink beverages from vending machines that allow him to zap enemies and temporarily stun them. Not only that, but he can swim, and he has a sonar that allows him to find any fuzzles that haven't been located. Using each character to complete puzzles and make your way through levels is great in theory, but the problems with the camera angles and awkward controls can stop you enjoying it to its fullest. For example, jumping over an obstacle won't happen if you're flat against a wall. This might not sound like much of an issue, but when you're being chased by enemies or getting attacked, it becomes impossible unless you have a run-up. Again, it may not sound too tricky, but when you're surrounded, movement is severely restricted, making it become an unnecessary evil. Some of the more restricted levels sees the camera spin around, meaning you constantly have to spin it back around to get the best view possible, but it becomes a real pain when you're in the middle of a fight or trying to locate your rescued fuzzles. Collecting spruce shrubs helps you unlock certain doors and allow Abe to control enemies' minds. They're plentiful and spread out across levels, but again, if you're being harangued by pests and trying to evade them, jumping away and gaining control of the situation can be tough. You'll eventually get used to it, but getting a precise jump is a rarity, providing a frantic pace which shouldn't even be there in the first place. Using the B button helps you to interact with your surroundings, but the amount of times I jumped off a platform instead of freeing a fuzzle or pulling a switch happened far too often, again adding to the control's lack of responsiveness. Munch's Oddysee looks far too bland now. Environments are lifeless and wholly colourless, and textures are lightly detailed. Not only that, but the cutscenes have that Vaseline smear on the camera, signalling that they've not had much touching up since its initial release. You have to wonder why it was released on Switch. It's an old game that was good at the turn of the century, but with no noticeable changes, it feels a bit redundant now. There are no performance issues, although in handheld the colours seem to be less noticeable, making certain areas tricky to see clearly. If OddWorld Munch's Oddysee was one of your favourite games on the original Xbox, you may enjoy the nostalgia. However, for anyone wanting to try it for the first time, you will likely be let down by the awkward controls, frustrating camera angles, and irritating jump controls. With no obvious differences between this and the original, it begs the question, sadly, what was the point? Hi there, Adam from God is a Geek here. Hope you enjoyed Chris's review of Oddworld Munch's Oddysee, one of the few in the series I don't think I've actually played, but I certainly did enjoy trying to pronounce all those really strange words that this game series has regularly got. We would love it if you subscribe to our channel. We'd love it even more if you hit the bell button. We'd love it if you told us what you thought of the game and if you can work out why it's being released on Switch all of a sudden. Otherwise, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.